Today we have the pleasure and privilege to meet Jagattarini Dasi, and we will be talking to her and mainly focusing on the prime question that in her spiritual journey, what was the point which led to the creation of these beautiful miniature, what we call it?
World.
Thank you. And we're also joined by Radhaji. She's basically from America, but she has been in Perth for the last 2 years. So she will be joining me and asking some questions as well. Over to you, Radhaji.
Thank you.
First question to you.
Thank you so much for inviting us into this beautiful world of the Sacred India Gallery.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. In his most recent address to the nation, the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji expressed great appreciation for the work that you're doing here at the Sacred India Gallery to promote the spiritual heritage of India. Very well-deserved honor indeed. But I'm very curious to know what your reaction was when you heard this great appreciation from the Prime Minister himself.
Well, I would say my first reaction was astonishment that this gallery had suddenly become noticed internationally, and also deep appreciation for the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for first of all glorifying and sharing something about Vrindavan with the public, and then for focusing on our project here in Perth, and his kind words of appreciation. I felt very touched.
After spending many years in India, living in the small holy town of Vrindavan, you came back to Australia. You are a native Australian,
Yes.
and you brought your family back here and settled in Perth, and then began the work which eventually became the Sacred India Gallery.
Correct.
So what was it that inspired this labor of love to create this beautiful space?
If I was to go to the start, I would say that in 1970 I gave up a blossoming career in order to study and try to understand something of the spiritual culture of India. I became a student of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The first time I heard the word Vrindavan, just the word Vrindavan sounded so sweet, and I was thinking how much I wanted to go there. And then 4 years later was my first visit to India, to Vrindavan. And when I was leaving, he said to us, asked me actually, how do you like Vrindavan? And I have to admit, it felt immediately like home. So I said to him, it's wonderful, Prabhupada, it's wonderful. And he said, you should come and live here. So we did come eventually. 7 years later we came, we lived in Vrindavan when it was like a village. And then after 12 to 13 years, it was time to go on with education for the family and so on. Coming back here to Australia, which is my home, it felt really sad, because there was something so charming in that place, and I had grown slowly to really love that simplicity, the village mood, just the whole atmosphere there. So a friend of mine sent me a very small, 1 inch in size, figure of Krishna. And when I got that Krishna, I thought, what can I do with him? And then I thought that because my talent is as an artist or as in theatre, I should make some little displays of those stories. It was never in my mind that this would become open to the public. It was just my meditation. But it grew, and there was 1, 2, 3 more. And so at a certain point there were so many of these little displays that somebody suggested, why don't you put them together and you can open it to the public. And it took us 10 years to make this. And I never imagined it would be how it is. There were many people's hard work that made this the beauty that it is. And so what inspired me, I guess, was I didn't want to not live in Vrindavan while living here in Perth. And so I went into my own mood, my own meditation, my own creation. From that small figure, it expanded and expanded and expanded until it became this. So hearing the Prime Minister recognizing and praising this beautiful place, it was so heart-touching, because it was as if it confirmed the fact that somehow or other I had been able to capture and retain the spirit of Vrindavan even whilst living here.
Thank you. So what began as a personal meditation for you, you have now very generously opened up to the world, to anyone who would like to visit.
Yes.
And you have people from all cultures, all
Yes.
walks of life
Yes.
coming to the gallery.
Definitely.
And for many of them, it must be their first exposure to the beautiful spiritual heritage of India.
Yes.
What is the feedback that you receive from visitors to the Sacred India Gallery?
Well, that's also interesting, because sometimes we have people coming who don't know anything about India. We regularly have people who come through the gallery and they say, oh, I'd love to go to India. India is just this place that I want to visit, but I don't know anything about it. And then they come here and they walk through the different parts, and we explain to them something of the complex and intricate and subtleties of the spiritual culture of India. They leave here with a sense that the gift of India is this spiritual culture. I mean, we also have to have economics, we also have to have society, and all the needs of society have to be met. But there's no other place in the world that has the spiritual heritage, the richness of spiritual heritage of India. So people who don't know anything, they come here and it touches them. It deeply touches them. We take them through the Vrindavan section with the big dioramas of Krishna's Leela, and they don't know what it is. We don't tell them this is this and this is that. We just let them walk in there and have this experience. It's amazing to see how they come out. When Indians come here, I think they feel a warmth and a pride in their own tradition and culture. Both of those are very commonly the responses that we receive.
I would also like to add that I've been here various times, and I can always feel the extraordinary spiritual energy levels each time I walked inside this gallery. My question to you was, have this person who gifted you the diorama Krishna, and you created this beautiful Vrindavan theme, had it not been that, how else would you have created the Vrindavan effect?
Before I got that little figure, I was doing a lot of reading. I was teaching. I've been a teacher for many years in different parts of our society. So I would mentally restore my memories of Vrindavan to the foreground of my consciousness by reading and by sharing those stories. But a lot of people have told me that when they come here, even people who know the stories of Krishna, they come in here and they see them in three-dimensional shape and size, and they feel what it would be like to be there. Whereas when they read the words on the page, it touches them deeply, but they don't have a picture in their mind. But coming here, they get that extra experience of something even more full.
Thank you very much.
This is such a beautiful space, and it certainly gives us a glimpse not only into Krishna's Leela, but also into your heart and the deep appreciation that you have for India's spiritual culture. So I'd like to express my gratitude for this opportunity to have a glimpse into this very special world of yours.
I would like to say finally that this spiritual knowledge and the spiritual lifestyle is the heritage of India. It's the gift that India has to give the whole world. If the light of that spiritual culture grows dim in the world today, then what takes over is materialism. And in a materialistic society, it's hardly possible to have peace, and it's almost impossible to have finer character and culture. This is the responsibility, actually, of India's culture, to show this example for the whole world. I feel very honoured and privileged to be able to take some small part in doing that.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.